In today's report, we focus on Burkina Faso, a country standing firm against global pressure and rewriting the narrative of sovereignty and resistance. Recent events involving Captain Ibrahim Traoré have sparked widespread reactions not just in Africa, but across the globe. This is more than politics. It's a struggle for self-determination, dignity, and truth in the face of power. Disclaimer: this video contains verified news reports and commentary presented for informational and educational purposes only. It does not promote hate, violence, or defamation of any individual or group. Viewer discretion is advised. Across Africa and beyond, many are watching closely as tensions rise between the United States and Burkina Faso. A firestorm was ignited when U.S. Spy Army General Michael Langley publicly accused Captain Ibrahim Traoré of hoarding Burkina Faso's natural resources, especially its gold, for himself and a select group of allies.
I can imagine a situation, though, in which the ruling elite of a country is receiving gratuities on the side that inure to the benefit of the strongman leader and not to the populace of the country. Does that sort of corruption and bribery go on with regard to the Belt and Road?
Absolutely, Chairman. I see this, and I don't mind calling them out, but Captain Traoré and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across, even in Sudan.
These claims, made on a global platform, didn't just question Traoré's leadership, they struck a deep nerve in the African psyche. Many saw it as yet another attempt to demonize an African leader, bold enough to challenge Western influence. The backlash from Africans has been swift and intense. Across social media and on the streets, citizens and commentators alike are calling out the hypocrisy.
All right, it looks like it's time for us to go save the people of Burkina Faso. This guy got on U.S. Senate hearing and said that the president of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré, has become a threat to his own people. You already know what that means, what that sounds like. That means it's time for us to go liberate the people of Burkina Faso. And of course, they're going to use a black man. The blackface is always a house nigga. Every time they're going to use, every time they want to use violence on black people, they use a black man from the West to come bring it on Africans. When they want to use sweet talk, it's always a black woman. You see, this guy's used violence for Burkina Faso. When they wanted to do what was it in Kenya, the bill they were trying to introduce, where if you owe too much taxes, the IMF could take your land. It was black American congresswomen they used to send them to Kenya. America has realized they have black people in power who they can use now to destroy Africa. But yes, this house nigger, Michael Langley, is now the guy who's going to be the face of America going into Burkina Faso. Look it up. He got on the Senate hearing and said, but Ibrahim Traoré is a threat to his own people.
Why is it that when African leaders seek to control their resources, they are labeled corrupt or dangerous?
Greetings from the east to north to south, and this wicked as west. The topic: Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The questions: why you think America fears the spirit of Captain Ibrahim Traoré in Black America? Let's get into it. I am your host. I am the one.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you heard by now the more than 18, probably even more, assassination attempts on Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the leader of Burkina Faso. What they will tell you in the mainstream media is there was a coup in Burkina Faso. No. There was no coup in Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traoré liberated the people of Burkina Faso. Now, this topic goes even deeper because he's the most popular leader in the whole world. Why? One thing they don't want to ever see, not only in America, but in the whole world, is a strong black leader. This is one thing America especially never want to see. What he have done was liberated his people. Also, what he have done that really gets under the skin of the West. The West, when I say the West, America and America's allies, France. He kicked the French out of his country. France for years has been taking Burkina Faso's natural resources. And what's the sickening part about it is they have done the same thing to the Haitians and many other African nations. What they do is they colonize the place, and then what they will do is steal all their natural resources and take it for themselves. Without Africa, the Western powers can never survive. It's impossible. So what they do is they steal their natural resources, and they have been taking it for themselves. Now, the Berlin Conference, when this good Christian man right here, they have divided the country, the continent rather, of Africa. And what these Europeans has done was, I don't even know how could they even pull something like that off. Well, of course they did it with military might. But they took the natural resources of these African nations and they divided it amongst themselves. And to this very day, they control the majority of Africa. I think for a brief period, Ethiopia was colonized. The other nations, probably all of them been colonized. Now, make sure you check on that, but I do believe that's the truth. Of course, I could be wrong. But now in 2025, and for years, there has been leaders that came along and decided African resources belong to Africa. Just like European resources belong to the Europeans. But somehow this good Christian devil have decided that he want to, number one, control all of the natural resources, and also he want to benefit from all the natural resources. And the people of that nation starve to death. The people of that nation and those nations, resources go to the Europeans, and they live in poverty. And somehow this good Christian devil, he seemed to think that's okay. But Captain Abraham Toure decided, no. We're going to do it. We're going to stand up and fight. We're going to either fight for our rights or we die. Because for many years they have had puppet leaders in these African nations. But enough is enough. Let me go to the next clip.
Why is it that when African leaders seek to control their resources, they are labeled corrupt or dangerous? Why are accusations conveniently thrown at leaders who refuse to be puppets of foreign interests? Many believe this is history repeating itself, just like in Libya with Gaddafi. In a strong and passionate televised address, Captain Traore fired back. He dismissed the accusations as lies, fabricated to justify foreign intervention. His words, calm but piercing, were a firm declaration that Burkina Faso will never surrender its sovereignty. He vowed to fight for total freedom for his country, even if it means death. It was not just a rebuttal, it was a rallying cry.
You know, this is the same narrative they used when they went in to kill Muammar Gaddafi. I remember it well. That wicked-ass Hillary Clinton We came, we saw, he died, some junk like that, he said, she said, when she orchestrated the plan to kill Muammar Gaddafi. You know, one thing that really should make black people mad is when they use a black face to do white dirt. A black face to do white dirt. We got those same people over here today. You know, they're called Charles Barkley and Dwayne Wade. You know, people like that, Clarence Thomas. They will sell their race out to lay next to a white woman. Tiger Woods, people like that. And then when that white devil get tired of them, she take the majority of his resources and she go home. You know, that's been the same playbook they have used for years. You know, they'll use these, I don't know, certain words you can't use on YouTube. But these type of people, what's her name? Candace Owens. People like that. You know, they seem to think they got a place in this America. They'll sell their own kind down the river just to have a place, a little shack in this man's empire. I remember a speech that Malcolm X made. You can keep me in the field for a lifetime because I never want to go in the house, ever. As far as I'm concerned, they can go to hell. But, you know, when you see Captain Abraham Toure, you know, that will give any young black person hope. See, the thing about him, he's standing up like a man. He's walking like a man. He's a big dude. When he go shake the hands of world leaders, he's probably the biggest person in the room. You know, he commands respect. But see, that's not what they want for Black America. I'm going to tell you what they want for Black America. They want people like black males like Magic Johnson's son. But he's about 6'7". You know, he got a dress on. Talking about the type of purse he's holding on his hand. Oh, that's a Gucci. He look ridiculous. Go take that dress off and be what the Most High made you, a man. And then they have the Wade's son. They like to push that type of image of a black male. You know, the boy that turned to a girl and think that's okay. It's ridiculous. But let me tell you something about that image that Hollywood loved to push. The Jewish community loved to push that trash on us when they show movies like that. Nobody wants to see that. But they want to push that on our community. It's really pathetic. We don't want that. But people like that, they want to push in the forefront of the eyes of young black males and females. But a man like Captain Abraham Toure, you know, that have a rifle in his hand, that's willing to die for his country, that's willing to stand up for his people, they don't want that. Because the West love to take the natural resources of every African nation, and then they love to colonize them. So therefore, they can always be beneath them. Let's go to the next clip.
It's Libya. Who destroyed Libya? It's this NGO, the same NGO that made false reports and gave them to those who wanted to create a rebellion so that people would intervene and overthrow Gaddafi. And the powder keg ended up being poured into the Sahel. These millions of lives that have been taken in the Sahel, we must file a complaint against this NGO because it is responsible for these false reports it made to support this thesis of attacking Libya. They have no moral lessons to give us. Look at the world. Let them go defend human rights all over the world first before coming here. We are fortunate to have similar situations. In this world, you voluntarily committed yourselves. There are countries where people are forcibly taken, killed. You leave or you die. Others, even while trying to flee, end up dying. They don't talk about human rights because these people see us as subhumans. They see us as slaves. That's how it is in their minds. They have never changed their mindset, but it's up to us to show them that we are not slaves and we will never accept this state of affairs. So don't be fooled by the stories. They tell to anyone who will listen. You must stay focused on your fight. Stay focused. We know what we are doing. And even now, the VTP commander told me that there is a human rights training session underway for group leaders and their deputies. If we make efforts, we know it's for ourselves. We no longer do things to please someone else. We do it for our homeland. And you are committed to that. Defend your homeland. Do not listen to those individuals. They should not affect your morale. In the history of the world, there have been wars. And during the Second World War, people organized themselves to defend all over the place. But there is a country that could not defend itself, which had to come and take our ancestors to go defend them. And today that same country wants to give us lessons. The pot calling the kettle black.
You know, it amazes me that that same general don't see the American general. He don't see the genocide being committed in Palestine. There's been so many people just murdered. They're bombing like no tomorrow. And America don't seem to see nothing wrong with that. The Israelis is the ones that's on the battlefield, and America supplies all the weapons. Now, the whole world see that this is a genocide, but somehow they want to go into Burkina Faso and so-called liberate the people there. It's just such hypocrisy from these devils. I pray that Captain Abraham Traoré survive, because they're not going to stop. It's a sad situation. Thank you for watching. I'm your host. I am the one.